All right, all you guys who want to get an M57 car, I just want to make this quick video to kind of go over the maintenance that you can be expected to do at around 100,000 to like 150,000 miles because they're now like 10 years old and older. Here's my X5. It is a 2011, and as you can see, it's the diesel, and I have the valve cover off. And the reason I have the valve cover off is to replace this valve cover gasket. After 14, 15 years, they get brittle. So yeah, with age and heat cycles and everything, you know, this one has 150,000 miles on it. It wasn't cracked and it wasn't leaking, but I'm doing preventative maintenance, and when I went to take it out, it all started cracking. So that's definitely a big one to do, because the intake, here's the intake ports right here, the carboned up ones. Also, you might need to carbon clean your valves. Mine, it looks normal, so I'm just leaving it. You know, it's not too much buildup on the valves, but that's another thing to look at, especially if you have the 335s. But the intake ports are right here and right here, and so they go right through the valve cover. So if the gasket's leaking right there, you're gonna have 30 psi boost or more coming into the intake, and it's going to leak out of the seal right there, and it's going to go straight into the crankcase, and it's going to blow out your front and rear main seals, and yeah, have way too much crankcase pressure. So that's an important thing to get done. Also, while I'm in there, I'm cleaning out the intake manifold. I'll show a picture on the screen of what mine looked like, but it's just caked in carbon. Same thing with the valve cover, but I cleaned that out. That's pretty easy to clean out, but the intake manifold, that is a big job to clean out. So while I had that off, a lot of people do EGR deletes. I'm not gonna do it, but it usually goes right here. You'll see afterwards, it won't be right there. And then thermostats fail. Mine needed a thermostat, and I ordered a water pump too. I was like, I might as well do it. It didn't really have any play, but it's the original water pump, so I'm gonna do that too. That comes in this weekend. It's a BMW, so cooling hoses are always a possibility. Mine all seem pretty good, but it's definitely something to look at. I replaced the O-rings in them while I have them off. Intercooler seals, another thing I'm doing. But this pipe is good. My top pipe, my upper pipe, you can see it has oil all over it. I think it was leaking a little bit, so I'm replacing this portion with the good old Amazon special. It's gonna fit funky, I bet, but it was $50. So I ordered T-bolts for that, but that's another thing. And it might look like a lot in this video, but the main thing is like the valve cover gasket and intake cleaning of the carbon. And kind of to get to that stuff, you kind of take all this other stuff off with it. So it's a lot of like while you're in theirs. And honestly, now that I've done it, it's not too bad. I'm excited to put everything back together, and yeah, on at least the X5 is not too bad. I don't know about the 335s, but definitely watch a lot of videos beforehand on how to do the work, and it shouldn't be too bad. But a few other things I did while I was in here is the you can see down there the oil cooler and the oil filter housing. Those both have O-ring style gaskets or rubber gaskets, so I replaced those because probably around 200,000 miles those will start leaking. They were pretty flat, so yeah, just while I was in there I had extra time. Those aren't too bad. You just got to pull the alternator off, and then you can pull the whole oil filter housing off, and oil cooler comes with it. And yeah, that wasn't too bad. That was probably an extra 30 minutes. Now another huge thing is the vacuum lines. Those all need to be replaced basically because they're very brittle with age and heat. Definitely watch a few videos on those. I didn't finish them yet, but I'll let you know how it was at the end. Ooh, look at that. See, this one's getting close to being cut. But yeah, definitely need to do those. Here's the whole vacuum box thing. Definitely watch a video on how to take that out first. I'll link a video down below that helped me. At first I was trying to do it myself, and then I gave up and watched the video, and it made it a whole lot easier. So yeah, this thing, vacuum lines definitely need to be done if they haven't. I'm going to be doing that after I put the valve cover back on. This coolant pipe, I'll show you where it goes. It goes right there. That's known for cracking, so I'm replacing that while it's out. Another thing you need to factor in is gloves. You need gloves. Everything's sludgy and soot and stuff, and it just sticks to your hands. Like, you're just going to get real dirty. So wear gloves, long sleeves, pants. Yeah, try to keep the stuff off of you. All right. Now, over on the intake stuff, this pipe right to go into the intake will probably break. That's no big deal. Just cut these things off and then just use some hose from AutoZone. That's good for oil. This gasket on the turbo is probably bad at your age, or at the age of the car. So replace that. I got a new one coming in. My radiator's all good, fan's all good, kind of all that stuff's good. A big thing with these is the rain trays that are right here. They need to be sealed, or the updated part number or something. I couldn't really find any information on the updated part number, so when I put mine back together, I'm just going to make sure it's all sealed, and I'll put that clip in this video so you guys can see how I did it and how the TSB says to do it. I couldn't really find any videos specifically stating that, so I'll probably make a little short or something just of that, so it's out there. When I get finished with my intake manifold, it's soaking right now. I'll show you more of that, but recommend swirl flap deletes, as all of mine were leaking, and they're known to, or they can potentially break apart and go into the engine and catastrophic failure. So swirl flap delete needs to be done, or it's recommended at least. It's just throttle body, that just needs to be cleaned, or throttle valve, throttle shutoff valve, I should say. Here's EGR. Yeah, it's all sooted up and could probably use a cleaning. I'm not going to be cleaning mine because, but yeah, that's another thing to think of. Here's my valve cover. It's all cleaned, ready to go back in. I cleaned the ports. They were very carboned up before, but now they're looking decent, so that's good. I didn't throw away these swirl flaps yet, but this is what they look like. That's somewhat of what my intake manifold looked like, just way more carbon buildup. But yeah, these are going in the trash. And there goes my hands again. I just cleaned them and they're dirty again. And you gotta take the injectors out when you pull the valve cover, so you need new crush washers for them and seals, and you need to clean them. And don't get anything in them because diesel fuel injection has to be very clean. There are some other things, and I'll put them in as I think of them and stuff, but these are definitely the major things that you'll probably have to do on most of them with this age and stuff. Other than that, from what I've been reading on them, because I did a lot of research kind of a little bit before I bought it, and then after I bought it, I've been doing a ton of research on what to do while I'm in there. And it seems like basically these are all the things to do while you're doing like the major carbon cleaning and valve cover gasket. And yeah, it seems like everything else should be somewhat good to go. It'll just depend, like when I get back together, what else needs to be messed with. But it seems that the engines themselves and transmissions and stuff like that are very reliable, or can be, if properly maintained. Definitely do oil changes and change all the drivetrain fluids. Once I get it back on the road, I'm going to drive it around for probably like 200 miles, then change transmission fluid and filter and the transfer case and rear diff, just to have those done. But they can be very nice cars for the money. I got this for $5,500. I kind of overpaid, I think, but I kind of wanted one. So, but yeah, it's got the brown interior. That's kind of why I bought it, because I didn't want black. But yeah, it's all in great shape. Very nice interior, pano roof. And yeah, it could just be an all-around good car, good gas mileage, stuff like that. And all for $5,500, but now I have about $1,000 more into it. With all the maintenance stuff, so that's another thing to consider. I am doing some extra stuff, like I ordered something that has to do with EGR part. I don't know what, but that was like $200 shipped to me, and I'm gonna be doing something with the exhaust, making it louder or something, and that's gonna be expensive, and then a tune for the louder exhaust, and that's gonna be expensive, but I'm not counting those in this. Just all the maintenance stuff basically was around, if you don't count my extra stuff, 700 to 1,000 probably, depending on what you need. So probably around 700-ish, with me doing all the labor myself. So if you're going to look at one that doesn't really have maintenance history like that, then just keep in mind that you're probably going to have to sink $1,000 if you do the stuff yourself, to get it up to like a good running car with no leaks. You don't have to worry about anything in the near future, which in my book isn't too bad, especially if I don't have to worry about that stuff for like another 100,000 miles or something, and it's relatively problem free until then, which I doubt I'm gonna have it for 100,000 miles, but you never know. Maybe I'll fall in love with it and just drive it until the world ends. And then also, if you don't do the work yourself, then it's gonna be costly. You know, it's an older BMW and it's a diesel, so definitely not a lot of people are gonna work on them, and it's going to be pricey for that labor, so keep that in mind. I would definitely recommend these to people who are decently mechanically skilled. You can fix stuff like that yourself, then yeah, you could have a pretty solid car for yourself for not too much money, and it be pretty luxurious. Alright, so I told you I'm going to show you what the TSB says to do to reseal the rain tray. So you take this butyl tape or whatever it's called, and you run a bead of it just across the tray right there. And I put some in the corners right here too, where the two trays connect. And yeah, then you just put this tray over top, and that should keep the water out. It's alive. It's back alive. All right, got the car up in the air now. And another thing to remember when buying a used BMW or any car really is drivetrain fluids. So I'm about to change the transfer case and front and rear diff fluids on this thing, and I'll do the transmission, which is kind of, it's tucked up under here. I'll do that one at a later date, but for just transfer case and front and rear diff, the fluid alone's like $120, $130, so that's another thing to think about. And transmission, this one, the filter is built into the pan, and basically everything you need is like $300 for the transmission to just flush that fluid. So that's another cost. Jeez, this thing's decent. All right, since you guys watched to the end of the video, we'll do a little cold start for you since it's a little cold out here. Alright, so when you put on the brake and you press the start button, it should do the glow plugs for a second. Didn't even need them. Nice. So since I first started recording this video, I've put like 3,000 or 4,000 miles on this thing, and I love it. It's a great car for the price. So definitely, if you're a DIY type of person, you know how to work on an engine a little bit, and you want something that's a little luxurious for kind of a cheap cost, and you want it to be semi-reliable, I'd definitely check one of these things out. But that'll be it for the X5 for now, until I swap out the bad DPF. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
One more! Get up, get up! Oh! One more! Get up again, get up again! Up, 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 up! Go, 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 get him, get him, get him!